Welcome back to this week's Ask the Professor. If this is your first time with us, and this is actually the debut of answering questions, but if this is your first time, we would like to encourage you to go to Barnett Seminars, follow us on there. And when you follow us on Barnett Seminars, feel free to leave your messages in the comment section if you like. If you'd like to send us a direct message, feel free to do that as well. If you'd like to stay anonymous, we will certainly keep your identity anonymous and answer your question anyway, if it's relevant. We are most talented at residential brokerage. If you have questions regarding commercial or something like that, I'll try to pull someone in and see if I can get those answers for you. But this week's episode, actually, we're dealing with something that's on the Real Estate Commission's mind right now. And I've already seen it in a couple of posts, so I know it's on agents' minds as well. And what I'm talking about is buying property subject to. I've had a couple of agents that have told me, said, well, people are making an offer subject to the seller's mortgage. And the reason they're doing that is because a lot of sellers today are sitting on these really amazing mortgages at 2.5%, 3.5%. And the buyers would love to get a portion of that. Now, there are legitimate assumptions, VA, FHA, USDA, there are legitimate assumptions, but if someone has a conventional loan, it probably is not going to be assumable. So the subject to strategy is basically where the buyer is asking to buy the property, keep the seller's mortgage in place. The seller will keep paying that out of the proceeds that the buyer pays him on a monthly basis, but the deed will be transferred to the buyer's name. They're buying the property subject to the existing mortgage. Well, notice the warning that the Real Estate Commission is giving here. This is not my warning. This is the Real Estate Commission's warning. And look on the right-hand side. Danger. Anytime a property is transferred with an existing loan, but without lender consent, all parties and their brokers may be committing loan fraud. Now, I'm not saying every one of these schemes is illegitimate, but having said that, notice that we need to be talking to the lenders to find out whether, in fact, this is going to trigger the due on sale clause with the mortgage. So read the notes over on the left-hand side, look at the warning on the right-hand side, and then also notice the commission even says these are your best practices. If someone comes to you and says, well, we want the owner of the property, the seller of the property to participate in the financing here, notice what the first bullet point says. Encourage your buyer and seller to seek legal counsel to determine if owner financing, including subject to, would be appropriate. I recently talked to an attorney friend of mine, and he said, guys, you got to be really, really careful on this and think about it. Banks are going to be extraordinarily suspicious about this because they're sitting on such cheap money loans that are out there. If someone tries to pull these schemes, it's very possible that they're going to audit some of these loans and they could call them due if this were to happen. If you see the word subject to, please be suspicious, talk to the lender, talk to an attorney, keep yourself out of trouble on this. I look forward to seeing you guys for next week's question.